Hi, Plus One sales team. This is Ed Cox. I'm the CEO of Dethera Sciences, and it's our product ReminX that we're really excited about having you guys help us sell. This is a very informal sales training. I'm here in San Diego. It's Monday the 22nd. I think you're probably going to see this later today or maybe tomorrow. But this is just a way for you guys to understand the product, to understand our company and what our vision is and what we're trying to do. And hopefully this will be helpful. Also, I think later on today I'll be on a question and answer with you guys, either today or tomorrow. I'm looking at the rest of the team. So I'm excited to tell you guys about ReminX, and why don't we begin? So what ReminX is a two-sided product, and specifically it's designed to deliver something called reminiscence therapy to people that either are elderly and isolated, which is another way to say lonely, or even those beginning to have things like memory loss, like Alzheimer's and dementia. And from the ground up, we built a product specifically to do that. And what it's actually delivering is something called reminiscence therapy. So reminiscence therapy has been around for maybe about 40 years, hundreds of clinical trials. But the best example of what reminiscence therapy is the movie The Notebook. So some of you may have seen it, some of you may not, but in the movie, a man, Ryan Gosling when he's young and James Garner when he's old, sits with his wife every single day at a care facility and tells her the story of her life. And remembering those memories or having those memories presented to her so that she can recall them is exactly what reminiscence therapy is. And it shows how effective it is. It makes her calm and happy and relaxed, but it also shows the limitations of it. Right now, the way that you do it is one person talks to one person in person, and what you do today probably doesn't help tomorrow. So ReminX, which is our product, is specifically designed to deliver the benefits of reminiscence therapy in a really fast, easy way. And so from the ground up, that's how we built this. We built this for the elderly that are effectively too old to use iPhones or iPads or Facebook, and all the way to those that have Alzheimer's or dementia or even cognitive decline. It's important to realize who you'll probably be speaking with on the phone. Most often the customer, not the user, but the customer, is the adult child. So someone in their 40s or 50s or even early 60s that may have a parent in their 70s, 80s, or 90s. So you're going to be talking most often to the adult child, and the reason they're interested in something like this is out of love or sometimes out of the desire to help, in that they may not visit their mom enough, or they may not be able to sit down with their mother and tell her the stories of their life as much as they'd like. Or sometimes they're the caregiver themselves. They live with the person themselves, and they're just looking for something that they can hand to the person for a moment and take a break. And so those are kind of the groups, is that the adult child, the adult male child, the adult female child, or even the caregiver. Those are kind of the groups that most often you'll be talking to. And so that's kind of the key critical groups that you're going to be speaking to, and hopefully so far this has all made sense. So now what I'm going to talk to you about is the first part of the product, which is the tablet itself. So the reason that I'm going to explain it in this way is we've found that when selling to someone, frequently you have to go through what I call the disbelief curve. In other words, someone they don't believe something a lot, and then they don't believe something somewhat, and then they don't believe something a little, and then you close them at this end of the curve. And so what we start with is kind of these three core questions that someone has when saying, I don't think I can buy this, or I don't think buying this is a good idea. So the three is, one, I don't think my loved one, which means the parent. So when we say loved one, that's kind of our internal word for the user, not the customer. The customer is the adult child, but when we mean loved one, we mean the elderly person that either is lonely or isolated or has the beginning of memory loss and could benefit from this. So the first thing the person on the phone will say or may say is, I don't think my mom could use this. She can't use an iPad, she can't use a computer, can't do those things. And I think that's part of the magic, is we can say, look, we've built this player from the ground up specifically for someone like your mom. So there are no buttons, there is no interface, and there's no plug. That's a critical thing. In other words, you're not asking someone to start, swipe left or swipe right. You're not asking someone to start understanding the user interface or know where the buttons are or try to plug something in. The entire device is without an interface, without cords, without buttons, and it's sitting in this docking station. The next stage, what I want to show is how someone actually uses this, because this is really critical, is the way that you turn it on or way you play. As you can see, it's just a slideshow. It's just showing these amazing family photos. And the way you turn it on is actually lift it up. So lift it up is play, put down is stop. So I don't know if you guys can hear this, but I'm going to turn this all the way up just to
you had gotten married in Colorado while he was in the service in World War II in the Navy. And he was visiting
you can't hear
before
me,
he went back to
but
his
that's
ship.
intentional.
And if you
Watch.
remember, he actually missed his boat.
Play button, pause button. So the reason that's so loud is because people of this age, the loved one's age, can't hear. Either they have hearing aids and they take them out, or they can't hear anyway. And so what we found is you had to have something that was really loud. And so when telling someone, well, I don't think my mom can hear it, that's right. That's why we built something that's 16 times louder than an iPad. The other thing is the on-off button, the play button, is pick up, play stories, put down, pause again. So if someone can pick up a TV remote, they can pick this up. If they can't pick up a TV remote, that means they have a caregiver. And the caregiver can pick this up, hand it to them, and then maybe go get a coffee or just take a moment's break. And so this is how it does that, is pick up, put down. And as you can see, there's no cords. Why? Because the pick up, put down also charges it. So the docking station isn't just the on-off button, and it's not just the holder, it's actually the way this continues to charge. Now, you guys can't probably see it, but I know that you have some of these tablets with you guys in Salt Lake and the other locations, St. George and Cedar Creek. And then, guys, I'm sorry, I forgot the fourth location. Dan, you should have reminded me, but I think it starts with an L, but maybe not. So anyway, if you guys are holding this, though, you'll find out it's a lot lighter than you think. It's big, which is great, and that's what they want, but it's also light. And it's rubberized so that someone could drop it and bounce it off the ground and all those things. And so those are all the critical parts we found. Is it's got to be loud enough, got to be durable enough, you got to be able to touch it and not confuse things, because an old person may accidentally point at something when they see something. You don't want it to jump out of the app. But this isn't an app. From the ground up, this is a player tablet specifically designed for patients, patients is the wrong word. So this is specifically designed for loved ones of this age group that can actually do this, and that's why this is powerful. So the other thing that I think is kind of cool is when it's in the dock, there's a little green button that shows it charges, but at nighttime, there's a sensor that knows it's nighttime and therefore dims that light a little bit so it's not too bright. So in every possible way, we think we've found a really, really thoughtful piece of hardware, a story tablet or maybe even a story player that can get this content to the loved one in the best way possible. Hi guys, so now what we're going to talk about is the second stage of the product. So remember I talked about the disbelief curve. So the first thing was, can someone use the hardware? Can a loved one enjoy watching the stories and hearing the stories? I think we've covered that really well. And so now the next thing is, how do you get the stories in? So when talking to a customer, they may say, look, I believe you now that maybe my dad could hear the stories or watch the stories, but how are we going to tell that anyone's actually going to tell the stories? What family members are actually going to do this? And I'll explain that. So what we found is, although we do have an app and we do have a website and we have all kinds of different ways to get stories in, we found the most effective way was via text message. That was something everyone did, because there's a generation that makes phone calls and sends emails, and then there's a generation that does Facebook, and then there's a generation that does Snapchat and Instagram. But each of those generations don't do the other things. Like, when was the last time a 12-year-old made a phone call? And certainly sent an email. And I've never met a 60-year-old that's ever done a Snapchat. So how do you get a group to communicate that doesn't use the same way to communicate? As it turns out, text messages is that way. Everybody sends text messages. And mostly what they're doing is they're texting back and forth among the family members. So that's what we created. We have an AI chatbot that is texting someone specifically via their text thread. So this isn't an app. We're actually just going to open Apple Text. And right there is ReminX. You probably can't see it, but like that's who the contact is. And everything ReminX is asking, day after day after day, is can you send me a photo? Can you send me some audio? Can you send me a video? That's it. She's just constantly asking, send me a photo, record some audio, send me a video. And then that AI will take all those videos and photos and audios from the family, stitch those together into stories, and send them down to your loved one's tablet. So this is how easy it is. So as you can tell, she sent me a photo. She said, can you tell mom a story about this image? Please answer yes or no, or other if I want to try another photo. And I said yes, and she very politely said, hi, can I call you now? Ready? Say yes or no. So I'm going to say yes, and within a few minutes, she'll give me a call. And what will happen is I'll leave a voicemail, and that'll be that. So generally it'll take between sometimes as little as 10 seconds and sometimes as much as 2 or 3 minutes. She'll give me a call, and then I'll leave a voicemail. So as you can see, this is ReminX calling me right now.
Hi, thanks for taking the time to tell us a story about this picture. When you are done, simply hang up.
Hi Mama, this is Eddie. This is a photo of when I took my girls to the beach. I love you so much. I hope you're doing great. And I love you so much. Okay, bye. That's it. That's as hard as it is. And now that voicemail will be turned into an audio file on top of this photo, stitched together and sent to my mom's tablet. And so when you think about it, that's it. It's just sending a text message or answering a phone call and leaving a voicemail. That's as hard as it is. And then if you're like, well, I want to upload a lot of voicemails, or pardon me, I want to upload a lot of photos or a big video, big file, then you type upload. She'll send you one fast hot link. You're not going to an app, you're not going into a website, whatever. She sends you one link, you click the link, and then pick as many photos as you want. You just go upload and it'll just drag it across your Wi-Fi. And I think that's one of the things that makes this so compelling, because you could be sitting on your couch watching Netflix, text messaging with a robot, knowing that what she pulls together will be something authentic and powerful for your loved one to watch the next day. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the third feature of the product. Again, talking down this disbelief curve, which is someone doesn't believe that their loved one can use this hardware, and now that you've convinced them they have, you've shown them how simple it is to leave voicemails or make phone calls. And then the third thing is, how do you actually get someone to know that their loved one's enjoying it? What we've actually built into the tablet itself is smile detection. So what we use is the front-facing camera, not to record videos and not to snap photos. Literally all we're doing is seeing whether or not something is driving a smile. How we've actually made it possible for someone to actually know that their loved one actually is enjoying this product. And what we've built is smile detection. So we can actually tell when someone's smiling so that we know the kind of stories that make them happiest. And so then what you do is you feed that information back to the family via text message saying, Grandpa loved the story you told yesterday. He really smiled. Good job, you're a good person, keep it up. And so then you've walked through all 3 steps. You've proved to someone that their loved one can use the product. You've proved to someone that it's so easy to tell the stories. And then you've proved to them that their loved one can actually enjoy the stories in a way that's seamless. And I think all 3 of those parts are absolutely critical and make this incredibly unique product. Okay, so one of the things that I think it's important to understand when you're selling a product is, why is the company itself passionate about this? And I can just tell you, like, this is a critical need. Most people don't realize the size of the scale of Alzheimer's, dementia, and loneliness. It's in the tens of millions. A lot of people also don't know it's uncurable. So Alzheimer's is the only top 10 cause of death in America that is uncurable and untreatable. There have been almost 500 drugs put into clinical trials to try to cure or treat Alzheimer's, and nothing has ever been successful. There is no disease even close to this. This disease, every single year we spend $300 billion taking care of people that have this disease. This is on the same size as cancer or diabetes, except there are hundreds of products for cancer, and there are treatments for diabetes, and there's nothing for this. And so the reason why ReminX is so critical, and I do believe that it's critical, is this is a disease that not only impacts the patient or the loved one, it also cripples the family. It's awful for everybody. And this is also true for social isolation. I mean, loneliness is, someone could have lived their whole life, a powerful life, a lovely life, and all of a sudden they become a widow or widower, or their kids have moved away, or their grandkids have moved away, and then overnight they're hit with loneliness. And so for us, we are actually solving a big issue. We are making people that deserve to be happier. We're trying to give them something that might help them be happier again, might help them remember some of the good days, make their family feel like they're leaning in and make a difference. And so I'm sure that you guys have a chance to sell a lot of great products. And you may sell another product that's as important and as wholesome, but you will never sell a product that is more wholesome or more needed or more critical. This is actually the very front line of healthcare, the very front line of a public health crisis. And we're not making medical claims. We're not saying, oh, this is so amazing and this is going to solve your problems. It's going to bring your memories back. What we're saying is that this might help you and your family, so give it a try, because probably nothing else is helping, and probably this might. So that's why I'm passionate about this. I'm passionate about this because I have a chance to see the lives of people impacted. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to watch the Fred Starr video, but if you haven't, you should. It's powerful, and he's an incredible guy, and I think ReminX is actually texting me, which is kind of cool. So that's cool. So what you need to be able to do is tell this story in a way that's compelling and authentic. We are not selling something designed to take advantage of people. This brings to another thing, is sometimes the patient will wind up on the phone, and you'll know it right away. If a dementia patient is on the phone and they're calling saying, oh, I want this product for me, or my kids never call anymore, so if I buy this product, my kids will call me. It is unethical for us to sell to them. So and you have to use your judgment, but most of the time you'll know right away. If you're dealing with a dementia patient, or an Alzheimer's patient, or an elderly person on the phone, and they're trying to buy it for themselves, we don't sell to them. Sometimes what we do is say, look, ma'am, maybe we can get your daughter on the phone, and if you give us her number, we'll call her and see if it's a fit for your family. But it is not only unkind, it's unethical to sell to someone who is buying it for themselves and doesn't know what they're buying, or doesn't understand that simply because they buy this doesn't mean their family's going to keep calling or call at all. And so I think that's important, because from a company standpoint, from an integrity standpoint, we care about these people first. This market is so big, we'll sell plenty. We don't need to sell to people that shouldn't be buying this. Patrick, what are other questions?
So Deterra Sciences just got FDA breakthrough status.
Yes. So it's a great question. So you may see in the press that our company just got FDA breakthrough status on our second generation product. We think that's incredibly exciting. It is also based around the concept of reminiscence therapy, but it is a second generation product that will go into clinical trials to try to get FDA approval. But one thing we do think is exciting is it shows how credible our company is and what an innovative company is. And in our entire field, there are only 2 companies that have ever gotten FDA breakthrough status. And we think that puts us in an incredibly rare company. And to our knowledge, we're the first product ever to get FDA breakthrough status for Alzheimer's that's not a drug. And so we are on the absolutely bleeding edge, the cutting edge of trying to make an impact in these patients' lives. And we think that this is a powerful way to do it. And our first generation product makes no medical claims, but it really doesn't need to. People know this will have an impact. And the second generation product, we hope, is the first medical device fully reimbursed for Alzheimer's and dementia.